r/ProRevenge.
Screw me over, I take away your promotion. For 18 months I've been working from home, as most of us had. From a work perspective this has been great. I've been more productive than when I'm in the office, been able to work more flexible hours and have saved a ton of money by not commuting. My workplace had an agreement that those working from home can do what hours they want, so long as we are able to answer urgent calls in core hours and we get all our work done. Fair enough as far as I'm concerned. For 16 months this worked great, as above. Then over a few weekends I had to clear out of the house and talk pictures of all the items that are in good condition but we no longer want, with a view to giving it away to whoever wants it. One day when I'm working from home I take my lunch break, make a quick sandwich and post the items that I'm giving away on one of those local Facebook free pages. I didn't know it at the time but one of the managers, called Shambles henceforth, from my work was also signed up to that page and he saw my post. He then took it upon himself to go to the owner of the company and tell him that I was slacking off and posting on Facebook during work hours. For context, this wasn't my boss, who was super chill so long as everything was done on time, nor was the complaint to my boss, but to the owner of the company. We're a big business so there's a lot of people in the chain of command between me and the owner. And to top it off I'd been doing a lot of work for Shambles. He'd outsourced the running of entire projects to me over the last 18 months, all of which I'd executed well and he'd taken ample credit for, and this was the only time in 18 months I'd posted anything on Facebook, because I never post. So the owner contacted me, and to be fair he's a decent guy. The conversation went like this. Owner, I've been told you're posting on Facebook during work hours. Just be smart about it, it doesn't look good when colleagues see it. Me, completely understand, just so you know I posted that during my lunch break. Owner, I was told you were posting at noon. The company lunch break is usually 1 to 2. Me, I did but that's because when I'm home working I always take my lunch 12 to 1. Owner, okay, I don't have an issue with that, just keep your head down. Like I said, a decent guy. I wasn't really in trouble and the owner didn't seem to care, but then I started to think wait, who the hell has gone to the owner with this in the first place? Long story short, a coworker, who was working on site that day, heard on the grapevine that Shambles had been bitching to the owner about me and how I'm always on social media when I should be working. I literally only have Facebook and I only use that for Messenger 99% of the time. Cue petty revenge. As I said before, Shambles likes to outsource work to me. I never minded this, the work was varied and it broke the week up, plus my own boss didn't mind as I always had my work for him done on time. However, I never got recognition for this extra work. For 2 years I managed a sub-department completely on my own because he didn't have time to do it. I didn't get a penny more for it, but it was a good group of people and I enjoyed getting experience of management. Well, after this every time Shambles came to me with an issue I would say I was super swamped but that I'd try to deal with it if I had time. The projects he tried to outsource to me I immediately rejected, saying that I had a full plate for my actual job. And that sub-department I ran. We'll get to that. Over the next couple of months Shambles starts missing his deadlines, issues come up with existing projects that he hasn't fixed and employees are complaining that every time they go to him with an issue it doesn't get resolved. It dawns on me at this point that I've basically been doing this guy's job for him for years. Fuck that. I set up a meeting with my boss and put forward my arguments for why I should be promoted, or really, why I should have been ages ago. I point to all the projects I've successfully run as well as the sub-department I've managed for 2 years. He completely agrees and says he'll take it to his boss. Now somehow, I don't know how, but when I go to the next meeting with my boss's boss, Shambles is there too. He's on the same level in the company as my boss's boss. A little phased, but not willing to give up, I put my arguments forward to them. Shambles lets me finish then proceeds to tell me that I don't know enough about our work to manage, I don't have the required people skills and then he tells me, and this is verbatim. Besides, people here don't respect you. They respect me. I know I'm a good manager. If you really think about it, you know you wouldn't be. I forget what else was said after that, but I was completely destroyed. Boss's boss comes up to me afterwards and tells me that Shams is a DK, but unfortunately he's got the approval of the higher-ups, so what he says has too much sway for him to go against him. I tell boss's boss that if that's the way it is, I'm going to look for other employment. He sighs and says, I don't blame you. Cue ProRevenge. During the time it took me to look for and apply to other jobs, I have time to think about how I can get back at Shambles. He's used me for years and is now blocking my promotion. I'd already stopped working on his stuff and his projects were going from bad to worse, but I needed something more. Now this next part could be an entire post on its own, so I've bulleted it for brevity. If you want more context, I can write it out later. 1. I'm an accredited internal auditor for our quality systems. 2. I ask if I can be assigned a couple of last audits before I leave to help them out. 3. I carry out these audits, and using my intimate knowledge of Shambles projects find every single issue I can. 4. A number of people also hate Shambles and give me more dirt on him. 5. Someone gives me breakthrough information that Shambles has been forging signatures and bypassing multiple company procedures to make his KPIs look better. 6. I write up the report, with tons of evidence attached, and send it off. 7. The report gets flagged at the highest level because of what it shows. 8. Shambles gets dragged over the coals. I wish I could say this story ends with the Shambles getting fired and having to sell his body on the street for scraps, but, obviously using all the connections he has, he keeps his job. I later found out though that he was due a massive promotion, as in, catapulted to the top of the company, running whole divisions kind of thing. That never happened though. With his declining numbers as well as a damning audit showing all his shortcomings, he's basically told he'll never progress beyond where he is and that he's lucky to have a job at all. He still works there, and I'm told his ego has been taken down a whole washing line worth of pegs. As for me, I'd love to say I got a better job with a massive raise. That's half true. I decided to pursue my dream job, literally, since I've been a kid, dream job, in a totally different industry. All the experience I had counted in my favor, and although I took a bit of a pay cut, I've never enjoyed work more. Oh, and that sub-department I was running. They knew that when I left, Shambles would take over running them again, so in my last month at the company I gave them all tutorials on how to search for jobs and pass interviews. I'd worked in recruitment previously. I've heard from a number of them since that they'd landed better jobs and thanked me in part for it. Not the perfect ending, but I'm damn happy with it.
A response to the post.
Maybe not the perfect ending, but you fucked him good, and the company supporting him. Too many good people get held down or rated unfairly when working their asses off. Going through that now.
OP's response to this comment.
So true on all counts there. Hope your situation works out, even if it doesn't come with revenge.
A response to the post.
For a guy that depended on you for his slacking projects, quite short-sighted of him to come after you. What the heck was he thinking, killing a golden goose like that?
OP's response to this comment.
That's what I can't understand. It's not like we'd had run-ins in the past. We were never friends, but we got along at work. Maybe after all that time he thought I'd just roll over and take it.
A response to the post.
Your story struck a chord with me. My boss had agreed that I deserve a pay raise for over a month due to me taking on any and all management responsibilities, but kept putting off the discussion with his higher-ups for weeks and weeks. The yearly rush was coming up, and I knew that if I worked through it I would end up losing my negotiating leverage. I told them that if I didn't have an offer by then, I wouldn't be coming in. In the end, not only was he left high and dry for the biggest rush of the year, but he also missed out on his own promotion. He was going to help run another location, knowing that I would effectively do his job for less than a livable wage at the original location. I like the guy, but that's what you get when you try to secure a second paycheck for yourself without making sure your people are taken care of. Edit. Removed a word.